Look up, way up, puppets. Yes, this is an intro, not by accident. It is important to have a scientific reference for what is to come in this video. Yes, it is I, Beelzeboob, literally the devil, coming to you from the depths of hell to discuss hyper-universe's censorship of the breastiship. And I thought it was important to begin this video with an actual pair of 100% natural female breasts held up through the miracle of modern science. Because this is what we are talking about today, puppets. Boobs! Yes, we are going to talk about boobs and whether boobs are appropriate for children. The story that is creating all this consternation is a hyper-universe non-controversy, thanks to oneangrygamer.net for the story. But as you can see, the developer, Seawavesoft or Quavesoft, I'm not sure how you pronounce this name, they created a game, which is a side-scrolling beat-em-up MOBA. And a forum noticed that certain female characters, in fact, it seems all the female characters, had undergone significant breast reductions, and the boob physics were toned down. And this is why it is important that you studied before. The article was nice enough, was good enough to show 2 examples, there you are, puppets, of the characters in motion. And I do mean motion. You noticed in this original video, the breasts barely move when the character comes to a stop. Now, in the, I'm assuming, Korean version, you see that there is substantial jiggle. And when she comes to a stop, there is a slight bounce. Now, I did not notice this, puppets, because when I look in the mirror, my day-to-day life, my reality is more like this on a treadmill than this. Do you see how they don't move at all when she stops? This is not accurate. Now, granted, she is running in high heels and apparently forgot to put on pants, but this is fine because the junk in the trunk is fabulous. Now, puppets, I am going to, for science, show what happens when a well-endowed woman does, in fact, make many up and down motions like running. We get the movement going and then comes to a stop. Do you see accurately that things actually kept moving for a moment? Otherwise known as accurate physics, which I understand is very, very important to video games these days. But they do not stop like rocks when the rest of our body does. Inertia moves them forward. Watch again. Run, 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 stop. Movement! Movement after the rest of the body has stopped, puppets. This is very important because the apparent reason for this changing of the female chest, getting the chest off the females as opposed to letting the females get something off their chest, is that people complained in demonstrations that it was not appropriate for children. There may be parts of human interactions that I, being a demon, do not understand. But I thought most children, especially children to women who do not have to avoid breastfeeding for medical reasons, ate from breasts. So how is a child's food source suddenly inappropriate for children when children get old enough to have some vague, amorphous idea of adult time? I do not understand this. Now, granted, I come from hell. There's boobs far and wide, because boobs led many a man, and more than a few women, down to the gates of hell. This is true. Sexuality has become commodified and fetishized. And in the case of anime, I don't understand anime either, puppets. The point is, what has been done to sexuality? What has been done to the female form? And what has been done to depictions of female bodies? Do not make those bodies inherently dirty. Strangely enough, we have this thing called clothes that cover up the assets. And in more male-dominated societies, women are expected to cover up said assets more because it is seen as distracting to the men. So one would think a mark of more gender equality would be run, 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 stop it, it's still going! Ah, it's out of the park. Yes! Science! Don't you love science, puppets? Let's look at the child-friendly censorship that this game company engaged in, because to mine eyes, for moi, it isn't much better. Now, just try to tune out, I know it's difficult, the anime ads that are a great many women with rather fine posteriors bending over in improbable ways, perhaps because they are so top-heavy that they can't get back up. Just don't pay attention to that. Pay attention to the main image. Here we go. That's still a lot of sweater meat with a rather revealing sweater. And I believe that this is the character shown in the video. But this, hardly anything changes at all between the Korean all-you-can-eat buffet and the more modest portion of a female character with ridiculous armor and a perma wedgie. We're really worried about the size of her breasts when the rest of that is going on. And here we are, the steampunk. Now, the steampunk is an aesthetic where cleavage and the less modest things tend to be more accepted because, well, steampunk is all about the art of wearing your underwear on the outside, puppets. But here we are. There's really nothing less sexy about it. In some ways, the image is now more sexy because there's a level of mystery. But there's still no mystery that this woman is above average in the gifts God gave her. And I give the artist in this case absolutely fantastic credit for designing the proper three-seam bra that well-endowed women like myself must buy because it provides more support in the heaviest part of the breast. And then we get to this angel with a rather decidedly unangelic fashion sense. Beelzeboob approves of this wardrobe, puppets. But what difference does it make if she's a G cup or a J cup? That is still a lot of boobs, and she looks like she's being plugged from behind and very much liking it. I don't know what those wings are hiding, but there is a party back there. Now, I understand that they are trying to make concessions, but in my limited understanding of the human condition, this design is still not Puritan child friendly. So what was the point? Here we go again. Just a minor tweak in the hemline? I mean, I see nothing wrong with this character in the first place. She's cuter. She's got that Valentine's Day thing going on. They've added not only the extra bandeau top to this raven-haired elf lass, to her quite attractive cleavage or décolletage, but they've also added a little skirt. Now, any woman who has worn a skirt that short recognizes within running about 5 feet that skirt would be proven useless, whereas a dress of that sort with the kick pleat would stay more in place. So in this case, modesty made it ridiculous. Also, why is she carrying a purse with an arrow quiver? I don't understand these things, puppets. I don't understand humanity at all. This begs the question for moi. Who exactly did they appease with these minor cosmetic changes to create it isn't really modesty, it's more like mo. Mo. We're doing something. Reward us. This is still not a game that Puritan pseudo-gamers will play around their darling, sexually repressed angels. All it did was annoy the other fan base who enjoys the gratuity of such games. Now, no matter how you feel about said gratuity, we must acknowledge that this is not something video games created. This is a phenomenon that exists in popular culture. Gaming didn't invent it the same way hip-hop videos did not invent it. They just took what rock music videos were doing in the 1980s and the early 1990s and made it their own, and therefore 100% more honest. The minute men wanted to see breasts that were actually the breasts of a woman instead of something akin to that of a slightly overweight 13-year-old boy, then we started having problems. And why did we have problems? Because perhaps it was a body that men who like women, who look like women, actually wanted to look at. And that reduces social controls. That makes it more difficult for the media and notably the advertising business to shovel any sort of crappish it girl at you that it wants and claim that that is beautiful. No, no, no. Once a man has a particular stirring in his loins, as well as a great deal of women, it is more difficult to blindside them and make them believe that they like a particular kind of woman that they do not like. Now, this is the male gaze, as some would say, but it is a reality that different people are attracted to different things. And this is a very, very good thing, because not all women look alike, puppets, you may have noticed. Now, that being said, a developer being able to make, any game they want means the developer has the right to censor their game if they want for sales. And it's an excuse to do our lovely fun science experiment. So let's do that one more time. Ready? Ready? Now watch for the aftershocks, because this is very important, because we are very, very interested in realistic physics in video games, not the rock boobs you see in every Uncharted title that's ever come out. It's weird and it pains me. Now watch. This is what happens when a woman actually runs in the real world. You ready? Run, 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 run. Stop. Aftershock. Run, 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 run. Stop. Aftershock. See how it works? Science is beautiful. Thank you, puppets. I am Beelzeboob, literally the devil. Stabby. Thank you for watching and go to hell.